Colorado Avalanche Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. CenturyLink, a trusted technology partner, frees you to focus on what matters. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Shortline Subaru. Save money, drive better. Avalanche finishing up a 4-game road trip in the last stretch of the schedule before the Olympic break is tonight in Uniondale, New York to face the Islanders. All right, let's talk about the Forge starting lineup, and Peter will tell us about the starting goaltenders.
Well, this last game, Mike, as you mentioned before the Olympic break, a couple of veterans get their turn in goal. J.S. Giguère, who was triumphant against the New Jersey Devils earlier in this road trip. Evgeny Nabokov returning. He's like he was injured earlier, but he's been back and been playing pretty well for this New York Islander club. But Islanders have really, since we saw them in Colorado, they have just fallen off. They're 1-5-1 and have fallen deep out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Well, after the Avalanche lost that overtime game, then they won a game, another heroic finish for the Islanders in Dallas. They had gotten themselves up to a record of 21-24-7, Peter, but then just one win in their last 7 games.
Yeah, it's tough. We'll talk about what's going on here in the island with the moving to Brooklyn and all the things that are going on.
Well, we begin play. The Avalanche and the Islanders meeting for the second time this season. We mentioned the Islanders won an overtime game in January against the Avalanche. Grabner had the overtime winner for New York. The Avs have the puck. O'Reilly moves it across and trying to hit the defenseman. Eric Johnson was going to the front of the net. Goes back towards the point, reaching for it. Hayden slid away, and the puck is pushed down the ice out of the net to play it. Is Giguère, and is pushed out towards center ice by the Avalanche. Pochek picked up by O'Reilly coming down the slot. If you look at the rest of the Ford lineup for the Avalanche, no changes in terms of the skaters for Colorado. Alex Tanguay on the trip, but has not played in all 4 games, including tonight on this road trip. The healthy scratch tonight is Ryan Wilson. The only change in the lineup, different goaltender starting, as Giguère gets the nod, and Semyon Varlamov, after starting the last 2 games in which they have lost, is the backup. Pass in front, and the tip sends the puck wide of the net. Centering try, stopped by Giguère, and the puck is bounced out to center ice.
Mike, you almost think there's 2 ways this game could go. One, you know, it's going to be a little sluggish with being the last game and players, you know, Ooh.
Pass across, just atop the crease and wide.
Or, Mike, it could be what we're seeing right now. Both clubs just going for it.
Damson back. Andre Benoit makes the handoff. Pass up the wall. Out to center ice for McKinnon. Slices his way down the middle. Broken up by the Islanders. Taken away by Josh Bailey. He'll skate to the red line and dump it in. Coming back court. That's defenseman Tyson Barrie. Rolls it around the boards. Pass out to center. Kicked off the skate of Holden. Swatted back and into the Avalanche zone by the Isles. Deep into the corner. That's had the puck tied up. Still kicking along the end boards towards the corner. Eric Bolton's number 36 for the Islanders. Along with Zikas. Pass comes out in front, and a tip sends the puck wide of the net. Slammed around by Stastny and out. And the puck comes all the way back into the New York zone. And we got an icing call on Colorado.
And for Jack Capilano, who got this club into the playoffs last year, this has been a frustrating season. So many things going on, Mike. They play here in Long Island next year, and then the following year they're going to be in Brooklyn. There have been a couple of players that have turned down. Vanek, McDonald have turned down huge contracts just in the last week or so. What's going to happen inside the locker room over the course of after the Olympics, when the roster freeze, the trade freeze is lifted and all of that. So it is going to be an interesting time for the New York Islanders.
Puck kicks off the skate of Landeskog. It's amazing. One more year of this building. Now there's been some thought that maybe they will play some games. What they're going to do, and the puck right there in the crease turned aside, is turn this building into a minor league hockey bill
Yes.
for an American Hockey League team, and perhaps even play handful of Islander home games here. You think about the history of this place, and the 4 Stanley Cups that were won, the great players that have played here, and what this building has meant to this area. There's a save again by Giguère, and once again the Islanders putting some pressure on the Avalanche during this first period of play.
Remember, yesterday came over and watched the Avalanche practice here. They practiced, from 1:30 to about 3 o'clock. A lot of guys hanging around on the ice doing a little extra work. So there was great energy for the Avalanche. And all the drills that the Avalanche were doing were goal-scoring drills. 5-on-3 drills. Mike, drills where you're going to score goals, because the Avs right now need to get something going offensively, especially 5-on-5.
And this is an Islanders team, Peter, that you look at the statistics, they've given up a lot of goals per game this season.
Yeah, second most in the NHL, and defensively you got to get up. They got some good young defensemen, but they are young.
Nielsen carries the puck through center into the Colorado zone, looks for a trailer, shot towards the net, and it trickles wide. Avalanche get to it in the corner. The Islanders again with another rush and another chance. Duchesne coming in. He gets wedged off the puck, goes back behind the New York net, turned up the far side wing. Cal Clutterbuck shoots the puck to center. Johnson for Colorado brings it in. He winds, he shoots off the chest of Nabokov as he went down for the save. Quick pass up the near wing for Nelson. Held up by McLeod of Colorado. Knocks the puck down. Slaps it towards the corner. And Lubomir Wisnowski, very talented defenseman, but he's been out quite a bit this season. Head injury. It's kept him out of a lot of games. He's really been missed by this New York team.
45 games with a concussion. That's a long time.
Pass to center ice. Brought over the line. Down the wing. Shot! In the save made by Giguère on Colin McDonald's try.
It's been an interesting run for the Avalanche. We had Mitchell returning to Madison Square Garden, Talbot returned to Philadelphia, and tonight P.A. Parento returns to New York Islanders, where he had 2 terrific seasons. Great numbers, great points. Played against Tavares, and Mike was absolutely outstanding. Signed, of course, the 4-year deal with the Avalanche, and has been a big part of their success this season.
4.5 minutes into the first period. 8 shots for New York, 1 for the Avalanche. No score. Shot around the boards by Andrew McDonald, number 47 for New York. Sent back the other way. Scooped up by Landeskog. Curls to the boards, pass into the slot for Stasta. He gets marked. Clutterbuck sets a pick. The puck turned back to the Avalanche. Chipped at by McKinnon. Blocked between the circles. Fired off the boards and out by New York. Not deep enough for an icing call. Giguère out of the net to play, and is stolen away. Brought in. Booming shot goes wide of the net. And a try by Grabner. There's another chance. Another save by Giguère. The puck back behind the net. Scooped up. Turned to the corner. Oposo. This is the top line out right now for this New York Islanders team. They really rely on this Tavares line to do a lot of their scoring. Flip to the corner. Off the shelf. DeHaan will take it. Uses the net as a screen and gets out to center ice. Makes the pass and tipped off the stick and into the corner. Into the Avalanche zone. Hayda makes a quick pass. Held in by Oposo. His pass behind his back hit his skate. Bounces out to center. DeHaan backing up. Mike drives it across.
DeHaan is a really talented young defenseman. He is going to be that mainstay defenseman for this New York Islander club.
Calvin DeHaan, his name. A couple of goals and 10 points this season for the young defenseman. He's wearing number 44. Drop pass, top of the near side circle. Vanek's chance goes wide of the net. Up the wing. Held in by the Islanders. Put back behind the net for Matt Martin. Leads the NHL in hits. Behind the net. Scooped up, played back towards the point with the glove. Knocked down by Hickey. Played across. There down the far side wing by Bolton. Centering try. Side of the net. Turned away. And the Avalanche had possession. To the red line. Back into the New York zone. Wisnowski will twist back behind the New York net. It's a quick pass for Thomas Hickey. Up ice for McDonald. Skates it over the line. Got a man with him. He shoots, misses on the short side. And Bordeleau takes the puck. Wings it around. Chipped up the far wall. McLeod for Colorado. Able to slide the puck free for Cleach. Check from behind. Race for the puck behind the New York net. Cleach and Bordeleau. It's Bordeleau with the puck for Colorado. Spins away. Gets himself a little bit of room. Dropped it back in the corner. McLeod ties up his man. Good battle going along the boards for the puck. And it's taken by the Islanders. Brock Nelson makes a pass up ice for Bailey. Kicks it, gets it back. Set down the slot, turned off the boards. Bailey with the puck, got a man in front. Can't get the pass off initially. Cleach defending into the slot. Shot, saved by Giguère, and he covers. And then a little something happened in front of the net with Colin McDonald and Cody McLeod. Those two are separated. And we'll be back with more first period play from the Island. No score. All right, let's see who is in the groove. Brought to you as always by Groove Subaru. We've got a couple Avalanche players right now on a point streak.
And you know, you almost forget for Gabe Landeskog, Mike, that this is just his third year in the National Hockey League. You know, he just plays with such a, you know, there's such a weight. He carries himself so well. He's such a big, strong force for this Avalanche club. And he's played well, but Nathan MacKinnon, of course, everywhere we go, that's all anybody wants to talk about. What is with this kid? What is his speed for real? And all you got to do is watch it once to know that he's got that extra step. There's no question. But you got a rookie and a third-year player they're the cornerstones of this hockey club, along with a bunch of other guys.
Wrist shot misses high by DeHaan. Set out in front, and it blocks. Open in front was Tavares. Parenteau, the former New York Islander. Moves the puck ahead for O'Reilly. Sidesteps DeHaan in the slot. Shot gets blocked, chipped away, and carried out to center by Vanek. He uses his speed to go wide on Hayden. Boom, the shot, and that one comes around the boards and out to center. Pushed across, back into the New York zone. Hamonic gets the puck away from Duchesne. Gives to DeHaan. Long pass, bounced off of Tavares. We have defenseman Tyson Barrie backhanding the puck deep into the New York zone. Duchesne steps around DeHaan, tipped to the side of the net. Tavares Okposo has the puck, goes across through the middle circle, over the line. Oh, there was something developing there for the Islanders. They were flying, but the play is offside.
Well, for the Avalanche, we saw it in Madison Square Garden. We saw goaltender Semyon Varlamov face a lot of shots in the first play real well, and we're seeing it again tonight. Something with the New York water. The Avalanche giving up a lot of shots early in this hockey game. 10 already, and we're not even halfway through the first period.
Bounce to center ice. New York with the puck. Turned into the Colorado zone. Shot in, and on a hop goes to the corner. Wisnowski and Stastny there. Pass comes to Landeskog. Checked by Nielsen. Moves the puck to the corner for MacKinnon. Wisnowski trying to stay with him. Pushed around the boards, back towards the point, where it gets held in by Barrie. To the corner for Landeskog. One of the better shifts for the Avalanche in this first period. Chipped out to center ice by Clutterbuck. New York's changing up to the forward line. Avs stay on. Landeskog turns to the boards. Sends it down to the corner for MacKinnon. Rolled free back towards MacKinnon. Checked. Stastny in the corner. Behind the net pass. Broken up by New York. Work to the corner. Andrew McDonald. Stastny all over him. Plays the puck to the neutral zone. Shot back in. Delay offside on Colorado. Andrew McDonald will take the puck. Avs in the middle of a line change. Gives McDonald a little time to get out to center ice. Trying to dump the puck in, knocked down by the Islanders, by the Avalanche. The Islanders back into their own zone, chasing the puck as Talbot goes for it for the Avs. Turned back around to the near side. Mitchell after it for the Avalanche to the point. Shot by defenseman Nate Gedden, poked away by Nabokov. Bouncing puck between the circles, scooped up and chipped away. Out to center ice by New York. We got a hand pass called. That stops the clock. We're about halfway through our first period of play in New York. No score.
Gabe Landeskog Yeah, it's a special feeling. It's something you can't explain. It's you don't even mention or look at the name on the back. You know, when you do put that jersey on, you look at the crescent, and you just know you're representing the red, white, and blue. And you know, in the Olympics, which is even bigger than the other tournaments, you know, you represent 300+ million people that are watching you, and you know, want you to do well, and then you want to bring back that gold on home soil.
He's absolutely right, Mike, because it was interesting. They also acknowledged all the Olympians for the New York Islanders, but also for the Colorado Avalanche. And when Paul Stastny, USA, was mentioned, there was a huge cheer from the crowd.
And coming up during our Toyota Intermission Report, hear more on that feature. Paul Stastny, the group going for the Avalanche and the New York Islanders. We've got 4 going to the Olympics as well. At center ice, Pozo trying to chip the puck in. Turn back out to center. Turned aside, brought down the near side wing by Duchesne. Moves in, and the puck rolled away from him. O'Reilly pass towards Duchesne. Centering try, tipped. There to center ice. Opozo dropped it off for Tavares. Back to Opozo. Shot. Got tipped wide. Hayda. Good defensive play. Avalanche moved to center. It's Duchesne carrying through the neutral zone. Waved away by Wisnowski. Scooped up by McLeod. Coming to the boards. His pass picked off. Backhanded up. Out towards center ice. And taken through center by Nelson. Makes the pass to Bailey. His shot. Caught a skate. Skims into the corner. Pass behind the net. Kicked along the boards by McDonald to the point. Broken stick. Shot by Hickey. Bounce between the circles. Pushed out to center ice for Bordeleau to take. And the Avalanche on the move in the New York zone. Shot by Bordeleau. Bounced high. Sent across. Too far for Cleach to get to. Held in by Gennon. Moves the puck behind the net. Bordeleau over towards McLeod. Reverse back behind the net. Out of the cage to play it. Nabokov scooped it around. Waiting Bailey for New York. Gives to Wisnowski. Slides the puck across. And out towards center ice. Worked down the near side by Clutterbuck. He gets stripped of the puck. Landeskog hands off to Stastny. Poke checked away. Bouncing puck to the near wall. Sent up the boards. Landeskog got it again. He turns. He shoots. Had it blocked. And the pass scooped out to center ice. Grabner makes a steal. Gives to Nielsen. Got a couple Avalanche players on him. Can't make a pass that connects to an Avs player. Or to an Islanders player. The Avs intercept. Brought over the line. Barry gets the drop. He shoots. Save made by Nabokov. Holden shoots. That's blocked by Nielsen. Kicked back behind the net. McKinnon waits. Turns. Makes the pass for Landeskog. Coming out of the corner. Walks out in front with save. McKinnon shot. Score! Nabokov had his back to the shot. And not only the 4th shot of the period for the Avs, McKinnon makes it now a 8-game point streak for McKinnon. He scored 2 games in a row. And it's 1-0 for the Avalanche. And
Landeskog will get an assist on this play. This line has had now. That was a second real good shift in a row for this Stastny, Landeskog, and McKinnon line. And the Islanders were saying how hard, was a goaltender knocked out. But Landeskog just works, comes out of the corner. He gets, Nabokov is knocked over on the play. But look at the angle for McKinnon. He just roofs it top shelf, and the Avs get a 1-0 lead.
McKinnon now with 22 goals, and the Avalanche with a 1-0 lead.
Make those 22 goals lead the Avalanche in goal scoring.
Here's your scoring summary. The goal coming at 10-10. Here in the first period, Gabe Landeskog and Nick Holden with his 8th assist of the season. Landeskog now with 30 assists this season. And on a 9-game point streak, that is his career best. To the point for DeHaan. Shot off a leg and wide. Bailey wrapped around, hit the post. Bailey makes another steal. Works his way and he shoots. We got a whistle. We're going to have a penalty.
That's going to be on the Islanders. So the Avalanche now, Mike, all of a sudden their shots were 10-1. Now they've had the last 4 shots. They've had the first goal of tonight's hockey game, and now they're going to power play. Look at the Islanders. They wrap that puck around, and Giguère, who has been very good in tonight's game, kicks that left pad out. And here's the penalty right here, Mike. Following through, and then you throw your hands up high. The referee's going to make that call every time.
The Avs working on this power play. They're 0 for 2 against the Islanders in their first meeting. Grabner pushing the puck to center ice. Guy to keep an eye on, Cal Clutterbuck. He's got 3 shorthanded goals this season for New York. For the Avalanche on the power play, they're led by Nathan MacKinnon, who's got 8 power play goals. The Avs score on the power play. Lucky winner will get tickets to an upcoming game. For a chance to win, register at afwonline.com/altitude. The Avs with a man advantage. Put in by Johnson. Makes the pass across. Rimmed around. Colin McDonald in the penalty box. Shot misses wide. Tipped out in front. Clutterbuck turns and fires it down the ice towards Giguère, steers it wide. So McDonald for roughing at 13:51. And our first power play chance of the game for either team. Avs lead at 1-0. MacKinnon with his 22nd goal of the season. MacKinnon chips the puck around. Parenteau keeps it in play, but it bounces free. Zikas shoots the puck into the Colorado zone. He'll turn to go to the New York bench for a change. And the Avalanche with another 30 seconds left in this power play. Flipped in by Landeskog. First to arrive for the puck. Turned back towards the point for Benoit. Slid across for Barry. Down the slot, Landeskog gave it to Benoit. Cross for Stastny. Down low for MacKinnon. Was tipped. MacKinnon still gets to the puck. Going to fight off a couple of New York Islander players behind the net. Turn free. Stastny back to the point for Benoit. Stastny cross ice. Barry fanned on it. Turns it across off of Nabokov. And the penalty is done. McDonald's out of the penalty box. Behind the net, Stastny trying to center in front. Picked off. Pushed out to center ice by Hamonic for McDonald. Coming wide. Turns. Nice pass. Shot by Tavares and a save by Giguère. Good save from J.F. Giguère. And we'll return in a moment with the Avalanche leading the game. Nathan MacKinnon now with 22 goals this season. Did you know? Presented by Stevenson Automotive. Which goaltender did J.S. Giguère recently pass on the all-time wins list? Was it C1 Ken Dryden, C2 Jerry Cheevers, or C3 the great Eddie Jacques?
All Hall of Famers on that list.
That's right. We'll have
one in particular he passed.
Correct answer for you coming up in the third period. Well, talking about goaltenders, that was Giguère. He's had to be sharp because the Islanders came out strong to start this game.
They were throwing everything at him. The Avalanche just took them a little while, but the last few shifts, the last 5 or 7 minutes, the Avalanche have found their legs and starting to turn the game the other way.
You talk to folks around here, they say the problem recently for this Islanders team that has just 1 win in the last 7 games, they just haven't been scoring.
And you've got 2 clubs that are kind of in the same situation on this 3-game road trip for the Avs. They've only scored 4 goals, which is they had 16 goals in their previous 3 games.
With the puck, Mitchell circles behind the New York net. Walks out in front, he shoots, and Nabokov makes the save. Mitchell just wound all the way around for that scoring chance.
What you like about this, watch the action not on Mitchell, but in front of the net as the Avalanche, McGinn takes the man. It allows Mitchell to walk out. Then you see Talbot coming through. He takes his man, and that allowed Mitchell to come right out front. Now watch Talbot come through. Mitchell's in front. They're tying people up. That's what the Avalanche worked on in practice yesterday. Lots of bodies down low in front of the goaltender.
Mitchell take the face off against Nielsen. And Mitchell gets tossed out. And Talbot will now take the draw for Colorado. Played to the boards by the Islanders. Wisnowski Push the puck up ice for Nielsen. Down the wing. Shot saved by Giguère. Rebound backhand. Another save. Rebound to the corner. And a struggle for the puck, and it's Hayden's got it for Colorado. He gives to Johnson. Oh, chip it all the way down the ice. No icing. Wisnowski back to retrieve the puck for the Islanders. Pass across for Hickey. Off the boards. Banged in by Opozo. The Tavares line comes back out for New York. Bordeleau scoops the puck ahead. Turned across. Pass up ice for Tavares. He gets hit by Bordeleau. Pozo's pass. Back behind the slot. Vanek winds and shoots and missed the net. Tavares off the boards with the puck. Moves up the high slot with the puck. Tavares being marked. Sends it down the slot. Tipped wide of the net. And it rolls free right in front for Giguère to cover.
Well, this big line for the New York Islanders, they come at you in so many different ways. It's interesting. I don't know if Giguère seemed to stay down on that play. I'm not sure if he lost the puck, but he stayed with it. And again, a couple of nice saves for Giguère in this game.
Backhanded behind the net for Holden. Up ice, O'Reilly. Moves the puck to center. Carried in offside by Tyson Barrie. Luxury has an address. Cooney Lexus invites you to see the full line of Lexus all-weather drive sedans and luxury utility vehicles for 2014. They're available at Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village and Colorado Springs.
Couple milestones on the right there for the Avalanche. Matt Duchene sits on 99 goals, and P.A. Parento on his right side sits at 199 points.
It's sitting there for a little while, though, too.
Yes.
And for the New York Islanders, a couple of milestones hit today. Colin McDonald's 100th NHL game, and Cal Clutterbuck tonight his 400th NHL game. Colin McDonald chips the puck to center. Avalanche after it. Barrie sends it across and out to center. Tipped away. DeHaan. Puck around the boards in the Avalanche zone. We do have a whistle. Play is stopped with 1:37 remaining in our first period of the Avs leading 1-0.
I hear it in Nathan MacKinnon, Mike. But how about this for give you an idea of what's been happening as far as, okay, the kid is starting to get a feel for this league. 1 goal in his first 12 games. 21 goals now in the last 46. You're starting to get yourself on a 40-goal pace. Now, could the Avalanche, would they take 12, 13 goals over the course of the last 24 games after the Olympic break?
From behind the net, centering pass got tipped out towards center ice. And it seems it's one thing also to score goals, and certainly that is important. But Peter, he seems to be finding the ability to score big goals for the Avalanche, timely goals. He scored that one, a nice one against Philadelphia. Even tonight, you're getting outshot, you're getting outworked, at least in the beginning of the game, but then you score a goal and it changes the complexion of the game. That's a big one for a young player.
Oh, absolutely. But we have not seen him overwhelmed by any situation that he's been put in so far. But I do think, Mike, you hit on a great point. You know, he's scoring big goals, but I think right now, when you get the last 24 games after the Olympic break, there are not going to be many 7-1 games like the Avalanche had against Buffalo. Every goal is going to be an important goal. I mean, there's so many one-goal games now.
Tavares out of the point, shot, tipped, and it goes high and wide. Put it in the corner. Pozo behind the net, trying to get it to Tavares. Mitchell winds it around the boards. And the puck comes through center ice. McGinn puts the puck in. McGinn, Mitchell, Talbot out for the Avs. Shot wide by McGinn. Up the wing. McGinnon puts it behind the net. Talbot reached for it. Centering pass into the low slot. Off of McGinn, Opozo with the puck for New York. Shoots it around the wall. The Avalanche get it back. Johnson's pass. Chopped at the side of the net. Flipped up the near side wing by Straight. That got blocked. And Nelson to center ice for Bailey. Moving down the near wing. Trying to get it back towards Nelson. Runs into Johnson behind the net. We're down the last 5 seconds. Almost a steal. But good strength on the puck by Gennon. Chipped it ahead for Parenteau. All alone for a chance was Duchesne, but the buzzer sounded to end the period just as he was taking the shot. And that ends the period, and the only goal, Nathan MacKinnon, his team leading 22nd of the year.
Islanders came out with a great push early, but the Avalanche really slowed things down as far as the Islanders' rush in the last 10 minutes of that period.
So we've completed 20 minutes to play on Long Island. Nathan MacKinnon with the only goal during the first period of play. Stay tuned. Coming up on Altitude is the Toyota Intermission Report. Thank you for watching the Toyota Intermission Report, presented by the Toyota SUV family and your neighborhood Toyota stores. Nathan MacKinnon had the only goal for either team during the first period of play as the Avalanche lead at 1-0 at the end of the first. And for the Avalanche, before they can get to that MacKinnon goal, first they needed some good goaltending from J.F. Giguère, who was peppered early in the first period.
Yeah, the shots at one time are 10-1 to the New York Islanders, and the reason that the Islanders hadn't scored was Giguère was outstanding. There were some good opportunities, some good plays down low. He was just on the puck all period long. Man, nice. Tavares right, nice save on Tavares right there. Stayed solid, stayed low. But then, Mike, the first 5-on-5 goal the Avalanche have scored in this 4-game road swing happens right here. Landeskog, who, boy, is he, Mike, I guess you would want to be playing well going into the Olympics. And the Landeskog is playing awfully well for the Avalanche. MacKinnon backs it home. But Giguère really early in this game was the story for the Avalanche. And Nathan MacKinnon, as I mentioned, Mike, it's pretty impressive numbers. In the last 46 games, including the Knights game, 21 goals. You know, it's starting, you mentioned how important they are, but it's the idea that whether he's playing right wing or center, he's scoring goals for the Avalanche.
Peter, as we just moments ago talking about Giguère, as Nabokov makes the glove save, it's knocked down. You see the puck in the corner. You can see there right in the corner that uniform. That's Semyon Varlamov sitting. There's not enough room on the bench for the Avalanche backup goaltender to sit. So he is just sitting right, almost in the crowd, if you will. Sitting there. See, you can see him right there in the corner.
Yeah. He's sitting there
and watching the game away from the teammates.
Oh, I've talked to goaltenders who, you know, fans will offer him popcorn, you know, maybe a little hot dog at some point. If you get hungry, why not?
There, you can see him right there, just sitting watching as the puck is sent across by Duchesne. Then a pass out in the center. Tavares will carry the puck in down the middle. Good stick handling. Circles behind the net. Turns it around the boards. And Landeskog trying to clear. Vanek knocked it down. Pushed down low. Opozo. And it's poked away. I think Benoit was able to turn that one aside. Then across. Carried in. Hamonic walking right in. And he gets pushed away from the puck. It comes free. And it's right there on the goal line. No goal, says the referee. Islanders are going to argue their case, but the referee was in a great spot, and he is very vehement in saying that that was not a goal scored.
I think what they're going to say here, Mike, is the intent to blow the whistle. The puck is right in around the feet of Giguère. Now, Giguère gets turned to his right a little bit right here, and he is trying to get everything he can, including the pad back. But the referee blew the whistle. Now, Mike, again, it's not so many times I think fans and myself included, you get confused by when the whistle, you hear the whistle on a play. That is not the final determining factor. The determining factor is when the referee was going to blow the whistle.
Dean Morton, the referee, will make it official.
There was no review on the play. The play was blown dead before the puck crossed the line.
Well, not a popular decision in this building, but nonetheless made by referee Dean Morton.
They have another look at it, and again, It always used to be like you'd listen for the whistle. Well, that is, again, it's so many times we found that is just simply not the case, and it's not reviewable in those situations.
Mitchell against Nielsen for the faceoff. Avalanche end up with the puck. Backhanded out, and the puck will dribble between the circles. Hamonic back to pick up. He was the one who got things started there. And that last chance for the Islanders. Snap pass out to center ice, taken by Grabner. Great speed for Grabner. Avalanche have it again. It's Holden. Bounce behind the net. Clutterbuck trying to deliver a hit to Holden. And the puck stolen back at center ice. Islanders get onside. Nielsen shot gets blocked. Holden got in the way for Colorado. Out to center ice. McGinn dumping the puck into the Islander zone. DeHaan will skate to center. Pass through the middle. Gets the tip from Bailey. And the puck caromed to the side of the net. And Giguère, he was waiting behind the net, but it took a different bounce than he thought it was going to take and was forced then to cover.
I think, Mike, it's interesting. These locker rooms now, as far as the money goes, Vanek, everybody knows that he has turned down a huge contract. Everybody kind of knows how much money it was for, how many years. And, what does that do inside a locker room? What is your responsibility? But I think the players, Mike, they sort of get used to the business side of it. And it has less of an impact, I think, in years past. They're just sort of, they're used to money being talked about, being turned down, contracts being part of the business side of hockey.
McLeod, low on the boards. Well, he was acquired from Buffalo and hoped that he was going to be here for a long time. They could get him a deal. They offered him a lot of money, but he wants to explore free agency in the summer. And so what does that do? You're the Islanders. If he's told you that, then you got a trade deadline coming up.
The tricky part is you
have to make it. You have now. Everybody else in the league knows you have to make a deal, or are going to try to make a deal, perhaps.
Absolutely. But the good part for the Islanders is there is a real need in the league for his kind of skill. I mean, he is a goal scorer, and they are so rare. I mean, a pure goal scorer. With his next goal, he will have 9 consecutive years of 20 goals in the NHL.
Parenteau works the puck free and slapped across the ice by Duchesne, and the puck will angle back into the New York zone, and McDonald will pick it up and turn back behind the net. Pass up ice. Brought in by Nelson. And he gets pushed away by Erik Johnson. Erik Johnson had 8 shots in the game against the Philadelphia Flyers a couple of nights ago. Bailey makes a steal. Throws back into the corner. Makes the pass to McDonald. Flipped it behind the net. And stopped there by Giguère. Not quite the same energy that we had in the early part of the first period. Brought by Parenteau. Cross ice. O'Reilly shot tipped. And the puck goes high off the glass, but not out of play. Tavares couldn't get out of the zone with the puck. Duchesne wrestled up against the boards by DeHaan. And Parenteau, after it, ties up with Tavares, who took away the puck. Former line mates for this New York Islander team. Long pass through center. Slugged back the other way. And Pozo puts the puck on the stick of DeHaan. Forecheck by Stastny. Long pass at center. Turned over the line for Pozo. Comes free. Tavares waits. Everybody onside for New York. Tavares behind him for Pozo. Worked against the boards by Landeskog. And the Avs and McKinnon racing through center. Holds up as he comes over the line. Looks for a trailer. Holden. He shoots. And the glove save made by Nabokov.
Well, for Matt Duchesne, the frustration continues. He now has just tips it up over the net. I mean, he did everything right. Nice play. You see that O'Reilly's trying to move that puck to him. He just tilted the stick a little bit too much. For Matt Duchesne coming into tonight's game, it had been 1 goal in 70 shots on goal. And, he doesn't even want to talk to you about it. And it's like, don't even look
bring it up.
Don't bring it up. I don't want to talk about it.
He's clearly aware. Hayda moves the puck around the boards. Again, trying to center in front. Bounces free for Clutterbuck. A couple of Avalanche players on him. McGinn gets to it. He gets checked by Nielsen. Work behind the net. Talbot. And Nielsen took it away. Played it off the glass. Johnson. Nice move to hold it in for the Avs. To Mitchell. His shot tipped on net. And Nabokov stays with it and is able to make the save.
Well, let's have a look at the Western Conference. You see right now for the Colorado Avalanche. Now let's take it back to that club that's the last club in the ninth spot. Well, that would be Vancouver right now with 63 points. The Avalanche 14 points into the playoffs. But more importantly, I think for the Avalanche, you want to just keep moving up and up. They're 8 points ahead of Minnesota. They have 2 games in hand on Minnesota. Minnesota was done Thursday, Mike. And they won't play again until after the Olympic break.
And Peter, if you look at those standings, if the playoffs would begin today, the Avalanche would play the defending Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks in the first round.
But if the standings were the way they were last year, the Avalanche would be in first place in the Northwest Division by 8 points and have a home ice first round as the 3rd seed.
That's not the case now.
Not the case.
You're the 3rd seed in the Central Division, which means you play Chicago, who would have home ice advantage. 14.5 to play. Second period. Avalanche with a goal from Nathan MacKinnon back in the first period. MacKinnon's 22nd of the season. Assisted by Gabe Landeskog. Nick Holden at 10-10. That's the only goal we've got in this game. Pass for Cleese. Gets past the red line. Drives the puck in. Kicked away by Nabokov. Swung back behind the net. Bordeleau and McDonald shoulder to shoulder. McDonald with the puck. Quick pass through center ice. Tavares. He leads Okposo down the wing. He shoots, and that one went off the shoulder of Giguère. And then Vanek knocked down Hayda. Avalanche do have the puck. Carried to center by Landeskog. Brings it in. Punch back the other way. Goes to Tavares. He skates in. Protects the puck to Vanek. Cross ice pass for DeHaan. He turns and shoots. Cut off by Johnson. And the puck comes free. Up the wall. DeHaan trying to slow down MacKinnon. Got a stick on the puck. Comes to Vanek's got Tavares going down the middle. Vanek pass and trying to hit Tavares, but the puck was up high. Vanek with the puck. Got a man in front, but a tip sends it wide. Pass back through center ice into the New York zone. Punched out to center ice. Grab. Skated through center by Nelson. Trying to split. He does. He's Andy backhand. Save by Giguère. That took a good, fortunate bounce for Nelson, but Giguère makes the save. And it remains 1-0 for the Avalanche.
Mike, look at this. This was fascinating to me today when I was doing this. There's 5 teams in the NHL right now that's got 80-plus points. That's the cream of the crop in the National Hockey. 2 more, including the Avalanche and the Bruins, are in the 70s. Mike, look at that. 18 teams right now. 18 teams with 60 points area. That means, and everybody looks back to one thing. The LA Kings a couple years ago were the 8th seed going into the Western Conference playoffs. They won the Stanley Cup. You don't think that those clubs right there don't think that one player like Vanek might not make the difference of them making or not making the playoffs? And what is the risk and reward of making that big trade?
As you said earlier in our broadcast, that the games are going to get tighter. You're going to get a lot of one-goal games. If you can get a guy that can score goals, he might be the difference.
Absolutely, because it's going to make it come right down to the end where somebody is a point or 2 away from
Columbus last year.
Exactly.
Had the same amount of points and didn't make it. Bailey passed. Oh, and missed wide. What a chance. And Hickey, wide open chance, and he missed it. Duchesne back the other way. Duchesne shot. Saved by Nabokov. No, he scored. And the Avalanche go up 2-0. Matt Duchesne finally gets that goal that he's been looking for a long time, and that's going to feel good for Duchesne.
And the reason he picks up the puck, that is, as we mentioned, his 100th goal in the NHL, and he was just flying up the ice. Like, I thought with the way he punched the back wall that he had somehow missed that.
Yeah, I didn't think because the red light didn't come on right away, and I thought it was a punch in anger.
Exactly.
I agree with you, Peter.
Because we're sitting up here, we didn't see it sort of roll slowly through, and then he just hammers the back glass. But the Avalanche, more importantly, Mike, they had that 2-goal lead.
And it came right after, moments after it looked like Hickey was going to tie the game at 1 and missed a wide open chance. And then Duchesne comes down the ice and makes it 2-0 in favor of Colorado with his 100th career goal and his 18th of the season, coming at 7:49. Parenteau. Well, there's 2 milestones in one. That's 100 goals for Duchesne and now 200 points in his career for P.A. Parenteau.
Yeah, Duchesne making that patent move from on the right side. That's his offside. Now he'll slip it underneath the stick of the defenseman and drives to the net, follows it, and there it is right there. Yeah, I mean, Mike, you can feel the frustration right there. That was a great look. You know, he's been really good, Mike. I mean, it's been bothering him. There's no question. 1 goal in 23 games for a guy that is one of the elite players in the game is frustrating, and you can just feel it. Hopefully, ease out of him right there.
And a penalty called on the Islanders. Michael Grabner in the penalty box. Shot flicked away to the corner. So the Avalanche go up 2-0. Now get their second power play chance of the game. They're 0 for 1, 0 for 3 this season against New York. And the Islanders have given up only 1 power play goal in the last 7 games. The Avalanche have a chance maybe to break this one open against a team that has really struggled to score. Although I will say this, Peter, the New York Islanders have come back to win games on a 2-goal deficit more than any other team in the NHL. 8 times they've done it.
And you know they're banking on that right now. They're on the bench saying, let's kill this off. We got them right where we want them.
That's right. To the point for Parenteau. Slides it across for Landeskog. His pass tipped away by McDonald, who leads the NHL in blocked shots. Giguère will set the puck down behind his net. 1 minute into the penalty on Grabner. Duchesne gives to O'Reilly. Back to Duchesne. To O'Reilly. He's in. Pass across for McGinn. Just a little bit too far for the tap in. To the right point for Johnson. 30 seconds left in the penalty. Tipped out of play.
Oh, looking at the Avalanche in the first period. You're talking about using everybody, Mike, for the Colorado Avalanche. Patrick Waugh, in that first period, Eric Johnson had 7 shifts. 14 players had 6 shifts, Mike. And then the fourth line, Cleach, McLeod, and Bordwell, they had 4 shifts apiece. But 14 guys had exactly the same number of shifts in that first period.
Halfway through regulation, 2-0 for the Avalanche. McKinnon, Duchesne have scored. And Colorado now the last 20 seconds on their second power play chance. Johnson's pass for Duchesne. Thrown back across. Barry, the far point. Johnson, shot blocked. Kick to the corner. Has another chance. Duchesne centers. McGinn shot. Kick save by Nabokov. Grabner's out of the penalty box. Shot. Score! What an angle on that shot. And Matt Duchesne with 2 goals. Well, when it comes uncorked, he just starts scoring. That was an incredible angle to shoot that puck and score. Came right at the end of the power play to an even strength goal, and Matt Duchesne with 2 goals in this period, and it's 3-0 Avalanche.
He takes a step back right there, and Nabokov dropped down. And Mike just opened up that top corner just a bit. Just a perfect shot by Duchesne. And suddenly, Mike, a game in the Avalanche. First, you go back to the idea, it was 10-1 shots on goal for the Islanders. Now the Avalanche have sort of evened that up at a 3-0 lead.
I think you point to that first 10 minutes of the game, Peter, and I think then the next pivotal point was Hickey missing that wide open tap in, which would have tied the game at 1, and then After he missed, Duchesne brought the puck down. They scored. They get a power play chance, and then Duchesne scores another goal. Barry and McGinn assisting. And the Avalanche turn that moment here in the second period from being tied 1-1 into now leading 3-0. Islanders have the puck. Vanek pass across. Trying to hit to Wisnowski, who had pinched in. Broken up. Carried to center by Mitchell. He comes in. Pass for the trailer. Hayda. He shoots off of Nabokov. From behind the net, McLeod. Pass to Mitchell. Off the boards. Back to center ice. Settled down by Erik Johnson. Rams the puck back in.
Well, the Islanders need one now because the Avalanche are starting to really get their legs going. They're in the perfect spot in a lot of situations.
Vanek has the puck. Curling to the boards. Gives to Tavares. Up high in the slot. Twisting away from McKinnon. Turns and shoots. It was tipped wide. Hamonic had pinched in from the point. He gets hit hard by Landeskog. Feathered out in front. Back to the point. Turned around by Okposo. Vanek centered for Tavares. Tipped away. Landeskog with the puck. Stastny was wondering why there wasn't a penalty. He had his stick knocked out of his hands. He turned to the referee.
Yeah, but he didn't have the puck, and Tavares just knocked it out of his hands.
New York chasing the puck back in their own zone as the Avs get called for icing. Time for What's on Tap, brought to you by Coors Light. The Olympics take center stage for the next few weeks. We'll be back with you Friday, February 28th, when the Avalanche host the Phoenix Coyotes. We'll begin coverage at 6:30 on Altitude Sports. On the point, Hamonic shot misses the net. 7.5 minutes left in the second period. Bailey for New York. Avalanche trying to stop the slide. They've lost 6 in a row to the Islanders in this building. Gahan slides the puck across. Fouled up. Brought over the line by Nelson. To McDonald. To Nelson. Centering try. Flipped away by Bordeleau, but held at the point. Gahan shoots it across the rink. Bailey takes it. Pass back to the point for McDonald. He winds. He shoots. That got blocked. Big pile of players in front of the net. McDonald shoots it behind the net for Bailey. And watched by Johnson. Then driven into the corner. McDonald reaching for the puck for New York. Rolled up the boards, hoping the man was going to be at the point, but it shot past him. Back into the New York zone. Long pass to center. And it got tipped by Clutterbuck. The play continues on. No icing. O'Reilly's pass to Duchesne. 2 goals in this period. Pass towards O'Reilly. Bounce back. Duchesne one-hands the puck to the corner. Pass up ice for Clutterbuck. Over the line, onside. Shot by Nielsen, goes wide. Back to the near wing. Chip to center. Pass for Grabner. And Hickey will throw the puck to the corner. Benoit for the Avalanche. Finds Gennon. Off the glass and out. Wisnowski retrieved the puck for New York. Forecheck pressure by O'Reilly. Pass gets through. Hayda tipped it back to center ice. Hickey smacked it off the boards. Trying to find Okposo. Back for Hickey to Tavares. He gets checked. And Hickey makes the pass for Vanek. Coming down the wing. Vanek's pass off the skate, but kept in at the point by Wisnowski. Okposo behind the net for Tavares. Chipped it out in front. But Okposo is being held up by Talbot, who's going to get a penalty. We'll come back with New York going on the power play. Matt Duchesne, a couple of goals in the second. Avs lead 3-0.
Well, Matt Duchesne, those 2 goals get him to 50 points for this season. The first Avalanche to hit the 50-point mark this year. But again, Mike, isn't that amazing? The first one goes in, and then how many times have we seen him take a shot like that? I mean, 30 times over the course of the last few games, and that one just pops in, and then hopefully for Matt Duchene, now this is on a different level, that's going to relax him as he goes on to the Olympics for Canada and get, he can just be feeling good about how he's playing.
2 goals for Matt Duchene, big ones for the Avs, giving them a little cushion. A little less than 5 minutes left to go in the period. Tavares chasing the puck. Bounce down, he fights for it, shovels it free. Pozo's pass for Tavares. Power play for New York. In the box, Talbot for hooking. 15:02 the time. First power play chance of the game for New York. One-timer blocked. Went off of Gannon. Slapped around by Cleach. Kept in play by Pozo. A little saucer pass across. Wisnowski finds Tavares. In the slot. Shot. Blocked. Boy, there were a lot of bodies in front of Giguère.
Isn't it amazing how, we've watched it all season long. We've been watching it for seasons now. Teams just collapse.
That shot must have went off of Vanek because he went off the ice like a flamingo just on one skate. From behind the net, left by Giguère, slapped around and out.
That's how you're supposed to block shots, like a flamingo. Make yourself as tiny as possible.
It doesn't hit you.
That was my nickname. Flamingo Max.
I thought it was because you're pink face, no? In the corner, the puck played up the boards. Mitchell bang it out. Send the puck back down and into the New York zone. Crowd getting a little restless with the Islanders not getting much going here on this power play chance.
Mike, they've only won 8 games at home all year. They've been a better road club than home club.
And it's 5 in a row that they have lost here at home. 0-4-1 their last 5. Shot off the side of the net by Clutterbuck. And Hayda gets on the puck. There's 5 seconds left in Talbot's penalty. Stastny carries in. Dropped it to Landeskog. Back to Stastny. He shoots. Stopped by Nabokov. And the penalty on Talbot has finished up. And the Islanders 0 for 1 tonight on the power play. And it remains the Avalanche leading the game 3-0. And we'll be back. A couple of goals in the second period by Matt Duchene. Avs with a big lead.
Well, here they are, Mike. The 4 gentlemen will be representing their various countries at the Olympics, as far as representing, obviously, the Colorado Avalanche. But so it's going to be a busy couple of days, I'll tell you, because they get in a van tonight, and they're going to drive over to Newark. They leave in different planes. There's 3 planes leaving, big charter planes leaving from Newark tomorrow, 1 from Atlanta. And the first of the Avalanche players to play will be Landeskog for Sweden on Wednesday. He plays the very first game of the group of 4.
Peter, are players going on regardless of what country? They all sharing the same plane?
No, you just sort of, it's a little bit random. You just, with a bunch of other NHL players going to the Olympics. And officials and all that. And speaking of that, best wishes to Dave Poile, general manager of Team USA, who was hit in the eye, like a serious puck to the face in Minnesota. He was just standing beside the boards, and he broke his orbital bone and broke his nose, and he is still 2 days later in the hospital. One of hockey's great families, great people, and we wish him all a speedy recovery and hope he can get to Russia.
Landeskog carries the puck in. This shot gets tipped as we get to the last 2 minutes of this second period. Broken up by Landeskog. 2-on-1 for the Avs. Landeskog with Stastny. The pass. Broken up. Comes across in front. Tipped away. Pass to center. Brought by Pozo. Trailed by Tavares. Gets the pass. Tavares. Wrist shot deflected by Hayda. Slap back to the circle for Wisnowski. His pass in the middle for Tavares. Picked off. McKinnon skates to center. And shoots the puck down the boards. It bounces free for Kyle Okposo.
McKinnon was at the end of a long shift. He had nothing left in the tank to take that puck up the boards.
Hickey maneuvers his way into the Colorado zone. Tyson Barrie's picked up a couple of assists in this period on both the Duchene goals. Shot by McGinn and knocked down Andrew McDonald. Back to the point, and it slides past Barry. Shagir out of the net to play it. Turns it off the glass and gets the puck ahead for Talbot. Trailed by Mitchell. Coming back for it, Nelson makes a pass for New York to Bailey. Settles the puck down and shoots it deep into the Colorado zone. Benoit first to back around. Bailey to the point. Shot by Hamonic. He unloaded one that missed. Bolton to the corner. Back around and behind the net. Chased by Holden for the Avalanche. To Parenteau. Last 15 seconds of the period. Parenteau moves the puck off the boards for Talbot. And shoots it in. Straight. Back to handle the puck for New York. Comes free. Thrown off the front. And Duchesne coming down the slot. Had to bounce away. But Matt Duchesne beating the Bach off twice during the period. And Matt Duchesne was the story for the Avalanche in the second, getting his 100th and 101 goals of his career.
But the Avalanche, Mike, have started to take over control of this hockey game. Being outshot 10-1 since that time, 15-7 for the Avalanche. Shots on goal, and they've had the better of the scoring opportunities.
Duchesne got his 18th of the season at 7:49, his 19th of the season at 10:33. And those two goals have put the Avs ahead 3-0 after 2 periods. You're watching the Subaru Intermission Report. Colorado Avalanche Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Groove Subaru. On Broadway or online at grooveauto.com. KeyBank. Unlock your possibilities. Pepsi. Live for now. And by the Ford Explorer. It's time you did your exploring. Ford Explorer, go further. For Matt Duchesne, so excited about going to the Olympics this season, and what a send-off for the Avalanche centerman with a couple of goals in this second period. Going to feel real good about his play going into the Olympic opportunity that he gets for the first time in his career.
You know, and people have often asked me, well, when you're in a slump, what does it do to a player? Well, like, this is what you feed off of when you're a hockey player. Certain players feed off the big hit, the great pass. Matt Duchesne, as well as he can move the puck, is a goal scorer too. He loves to put the puck. He loves to make that. It feeds him as a player. And I mean, don't get me wrong, but Wayne Gretzky fed off of points. Mario Lemieux, the same thing. Great players love to score. And when you get frustrated like that, finally it bursts, it will free him up. There's no question. He is going to be a much more relaxed guy heading over to Russia tomorrow than if he had not scored those goals.
His 18th and 19th goals of the season, giving the Avs a little cushion. Now the Avalanche, Peter, what a record they've had with the lead after 2 periods. 29-0-2. But one of those 2, the Islanders came back to beat them. The Avs had a lead in the third period, albeit it was a 1-0 lead back in January. But the Islanders, there's only one of 2 teams this season that have come back to beat the Avalanche when the Avs have had a lead going to the third period. But the Avs look like, they've got it going now. They're just skating.
They're moving, they're skating, and they're rolling all 4 lines. Patrick Waugh giving everybody an opportunity in this game.
Avalanche offside coming in the New York zone.
Just one little note about the Olympics. Max Pacioretty, Team USA, was injured in tonight's game with the Montreal Canadiens. Now, do the Montreal Canadiens have to divulge how serious the injury is so that the Team USA can make a decision on whether they're going to send him or send someone else, i.e., Kyle Okposo? Mike, it's an interesting situation for the Team USA and the Montreal Canadiens.
Tavares has the puck. He shoots. And wide of the net. Gahan kicks the puck. Now, Okposo, you look at how he's done this season. His pass towards Tavares got away. I mean, he's got 24 goals, 58 points. Now, certainly beneficiary of playing with one of the great players in the NHL in John Tavares.
I think
you still got to put the puck in the net.
Absolutely, but I think that's what hurt him. I think if he played with Tavares, it hurt him a lot.
in the sense that he's doing it because of Tavares.
Right, exactly.
Let's look at tonight's scores, light, cold, hard facts.
Well, this will be the 5th time the NHL has stopped everything to go to the Winter Olympics. The Czech Republic, that's Dominik Hasek, won the first one in Nagano, then Canada won in Salt Lake, Sweden, then Canada in 2010. And so much has been made of the big ice surface, and that's what they'll be playing on in Russia. And how is that going to affect the North American countries?
Shot by Nielsen, and Giguère got that right leg down on the ice to make the save. 3-0 lead for the Avalanche as we have begun our 3rd period of play from Long Island. McKinnon got the goal scoring started tonight for Colorado. Launches the puck to the corner. Wisnowski will take it for the Islanders. A Price for Nelson, batted back in by the Avalanche. Hickey's pass comes across. Wisnowski through the middle, tipped into the corner. Holman spinning it around, cut off by Bailey of New York. He loses the puck to Tyson Barrie. Couple assists in this game for Barrie. His pass tipped by Mitchell. And after the puck in the corner swung around the boards, Bailey takes it, makes a pass across for McDonald. Up ice, Nelson chasing the puck behind the Avalanche net. Wound around the boards, blocked. Barrie got it back for Colorado. Pass out towards center ice. And it's lifted back into the New York zone.
And talk about guys coming into their own for the Avalanche over the course of this season. Tyson Barrie now at plus 14 on the season for the Avalanche. Best by far amongst the Avalanche defensemen.
Race into the corner for the puck. Johnson ties up his man. Matt Martin. Puck back towards the point. Penalty coming up on the Avalanche. And just as Nabokov gets to the bench, we've got a whistle.
I think it'd be Marc-Andre Cliche going off for the Colorado Avalanche. It's one of those ones he skated right to the box. He got tangled up with the Islander player.
Colorado, number 24, 2 minutes, high sticking.
I don't think he really meant to get, up into the stick of the face of the Islander player, but he did. Referee calls it. Here it is, Mike. This is that chance right now. You got Tavares' line fresh, ready to go.
He wins the draw, Tavares does. Back towards Wisnowski. Sends it across for Nielsen. Back off the boards to the point. Wisnowski, far side, one-timer save by Giguère. He just robbed Tavares with a chance. Wisnowski comes out to center ice. His pass for Tavares. Puts the puck down the boards, then back high in the slot for Oposo. Vanek, tough angle, shot, save, rebound shot, another stop by Giguère. Tavares gets the rebound. Slides the pass back for Wisnowski over towards Oposo. He gets wrestled. And the puck came out of the zone. Delay offside on New York. Slammed down the ice by the Avalanche. Nabokov will leave it behind the net for McDonald to take. He'll lift it into the corner. Racing after it. Puck picked up by Clutterbuck. Put it around the boards and got it out of the zone. And there goes the rest of the Tavares line. So the Avalanche, good job in the first minute and 15 seconds of this penalty kill. McDonald drops the puck to the corner. Clutterbuck after it, along with Benoit for the Avalanche. Bailey sends it up the boards. DeHaan slides it across, slapped at by McDonald. Slammed off the glass and out.
That was perfect by Johnson. That old idea, Mike, the guy wants to put his head out there to stop the puck and go out of the zone. Congratulations, firing head high.
DeHaan with the puck for New York. Down the slot, poke checked away. Landeskog for Colorado. And a turn away. Moves the puck behind the net. Pass across the rink. Cliche has come out of the penalty box. The Avalanche 2 for 2 killing penalties. 4 for 4 this season against New York. The Avs still leading 3-0. Did a great job on the penalty kill. The Islanders iced the puck with 14:43 remaining in the third period.
Now, here's how it works at the Olympics, Mike. The 12 clubs that are eligible are broken into 3 pools, A, B, and C. They will play a round robin within each pool. In other words, for Team USA, you only in the first round play Russia, Slovakia, and Slovenia. And then the winner of each pool plus the best second place finishers, best record by a second place finisher, are given a bye into the quarterfinals. Then the other 8 clubs play 1 through 8 to see who qualifies for the quarterfinals.
Puck is hit off of Giguère, and then it ends up getting bounced out of play. 3-0 Avalanche here in the third.
Well, for the Avalanche, here's what it is after the Olympics. I mean, it's a perfect breakdown of 12 home, 12 away, 24 games, like in 47 days. The real Waterloo for the Avalanche is the month of April. March is not too bad, but April, 13 days, 8 games, Mike, 6 on the road, including the last 4 of the season.
Backhand try in front, that gets stopped. Puck rolls back to the point. DeHaan chance, saved by Giguère. And the puck taken away by Colorado. Lifted out to center by Mitchell. McGinn's got it. Coming wide in the New York zone. Mitchell centers in front. Backhand try right at the line. It's flicked away. Back towards the point. Johnson sends it around the boards. Hamonic cut it off. Lost the puck. Talbot centered out in front. Back to the point. Hayden had to go off the heel of his stick and wide of the net. Mitchell will take the puck. Whipped it back down towards the corner for McGinn. Tipped in front. And nice save by Nabokov on Talbot. Bounce to center ice. Johnson backing up. Picked off at center by Straight. He gets tangled up with Mitchell. Talbot has the puck for the Avalanche. Shoots it in wide in Nabokov, the New York goaltender. He didn't see that his defenseman was taking the puck from him. He panicked there for a moment. Pass up ice, tipped by Grabner wide. Stastny finds Landeskog. Back to Stastny. Sends a pass across the rink for Barry. And rink wide in front of the bench for Landeskog. Cross ice pass. Stastny cutting in the slot. Shot goes off of Nabokov and then wide. And McKinnon. Nothing happened with McKinnon. Lost his stick and then he was talking to the referee.
He got hit, looks like he got hit in the face, Mike.
Pass to the corner. Knocked down by Stastny. And taken away. Carried out towards center ice by Nelson. Gets through a check of Stastny. Gennon tied him up. Then the shot by Nelson goes high. And it hits off the netting above the glass. The puck has gone out of play. Avalanche still leading 3-0, but getting plenty of chances here in the third. Let's answer tonight's Did You Know question presented by Stevenson Automotive. Which goaltender did J.S. Giguère recently pass on the all-time wins list? The correct answer is Ken Dryden.
And here we're moving into 44th all-time. People have often asked me, how good was Ken Dryden, Mike? And my stock answer is I have no clue. I never had a shot against the Montreal Canadiens. I never got over the blue.
I didn't have the puck, don't you?
I didn't even know who their goaltender was.
At center ice, the puck chipped in by Barrento. Hickey coming after it. Gets checked. To Vanek at center. Through the middle, broken up. Duchesne turns and whips it back in. Nabokov out of the net to give to Wisnowski. Shoots it to center ice. Vanek cutting across the middle. His pass to Veras. Couldn't handle the bouncing puck. Got away from him. Lifted out to center. Wisnowski turns the puck back into his own zone. DeHaan to center. Rims it around the Avalanche boards. Gets cut off. Chased down. Pass off of Bordeleau to center. DeHaan. His pass. Intercepted for a moment by McLeod. Picked up by Bordeleau. We're gonna have a penalty. comes with 11:25 remaining in the third period. The penalty's on the Avalanche. Cody McLeod. Or excuse me, it's going to be, yeah, it's McLeod.
Yep.
It's going into the penalty box.
No, this is one of those ones you just don't want to take, because McLeod sort of reaches in, and again, you see it on the hands. It sure doesn't look like much, but when you get it on the hands, they're going to call it.
That gives Cody McLeod 99 penalty minutes this season.
He said, Mike, 5 in a row over 100 penalty minutes.
Pass for Bailey. 11 minutes left to go. You get a sense if the Islanders are going to have any life here in the third period and make any kind of comeback. They need to do something here in this power play, and for the Avalanche, well, you can snuff out this penalty, take away any effort for the Islanders, put yourself in pretty good position with less than half the third period to go to get through this power play chance for New York. Mitchell carries the puck to center. McDonald back checking. Holds up Mitchell, and the puck springs free. Tavares skates in. Whiffs on a shot. There's going to be another penalty on the Avalanche. Tavares draws the penalty. Tavares skates up the slot. Going to make a pass back for Wisnowski. Gets to it. Nabokov has gotten to the bench for an extra skater for New York. Delayed penalty. And the puck slid down by Tavares. He was wanting somebody to touch it for the Avalanche. They want to use this 5-on-3. 25 seconds left. Vanek going to throw it in on the Avs. And finally, Cleach touches it down to 19 seconds left on McLeod's penalty.
They lost 30 seconds. I looked up and it was 49 seconds on the clock. If they had given the puck to the Avalanche, they would have had 49 seconds.
Colorado,
of 5-on-3.
number 61 in 2 minutes. Hooking.
Here, and again, here's the hook. Now watch, comes over top, and Mike, just on the hands. That's what to watch for.
Third penalty of the third period called on the Avalanche. Cleach, McLeod.
There's another penalty, Mike. There's another penalty right there. He hand passed the puck back. So now we got a real dilemma for the Avalanche.
Colorado, number 25. 2 minutes for face-off violation, playing the puck with his hand.
The puck went down between his legs, and he just reached down, Mike, and watch him bat the puck. And it's just a rule that has been put in a few years ago now, and you don't see a call very often. But boy, now all of a sudden, you got 3 guys in the box for the Avalanche.
Now you can't go any lower than 3 skaters on the ice.
Don't have a 5-on-2 here. If you want scoring, we could always do that. But what can't happen is a man from the Avalanche, in this case Cody McLeod, cannot come out of the box until there is a whistle.
They're trying to get everything figured out. The referees, they're looking up at the scoreboard. So you got McLeod, Benoit, and now Talbot in the penalty box for the Colorado Avalanche. Giguère's taking off his goalie mask to talk to the referee about what to expect here over the next period of time.
Talbot's came right on. I mean, the play had to be in play, Mike. I mean, Benoit can't have a full 2 minutes. That would mean that the play didn't start. The play didn't start. That doesn't matter what you did when the puck was dropped. There has to be at least a second or 2.
They've still got just 2 minutes up on the scoreboard for Benoit. Islanders do get the puck on the faceoff. Big win for them. Wisnowski over to Opozo. His pass tipped by Guenin. Vanek. Cross ice, tipped on net, covered by Giguère. There's 4 seconds left in McLeod's penalty. As you point out, he can't come out.
No.
Right? Until there's another whistle
The next
following
one,
the 4 seconds.
in 4 seconds, Talbot's penalty kicks in, and that's when it will start. But I'm still surprised that they had a full 2 minutes.
Opozo's got to come back to the New York zone to retrieve the puck after the Avalanche have won that draw. Wisnowski peeling back out to center ice. Well, it's 5-on-3. Not going real well right now for the Islanders. They got to get into the Avalanche zone, and Avalanche stand up at the blue line. Tavares will do it himself. Handoff goes to Okposo. High in the slot. 5-on-3 for the Islanders. To Vanek. He turns, he shoots, had a blocked shot by Wisnowski. Save, rebound, and scored by John Tavares. That makes it 3-1. John Tavares. That's his 24th goal of the season. 66 points now for John Tavares.
First in 9 games. First goal in 9 games, and much like Duchesne's goal in that second period, this is just a skilled player getting a puck at a bad angle and putting it home.
He didn't waste much time there, did he?
No, he did not. He's got great skill, great hands, and he is so dangerous in the scoring area.
You know what he looks, when he skates with the puck, it doesn't look like he's flying, but when he's stick handling, he holds it out so far that you can't poke check him. He does an amazing job of stick handling when it doesn't seem like he's really flying down there.
And he puts the puck under a player's stick and gets it back as effectively as any player in the league. He stick handles into the man really well.
Well, that 5-on-3 power play goal for New York. Show you the key of scoring summary. Tavares now with 24 goals. And the team leading 8 power play goals. Bailey Wisnowski with the assists. That's your key of scoring summary. McDonald through center ice with the puck. Makes the pass. Deflected back to center. Coming back to retrieve it. Tavares. He'll stick handle his way in over the line. Gives to Nielsen. Back behind him for McDonald. Shoots it across. Return back for McDonald. Shot. Kick save made by Giguère. Nielsen sends the puck. There's another penalty on the Avalanche. Wow.
This will be for slashing.
This is 5 minor penalties called on the Avs in the third period. Almost in succession.
Yeah, and they've been.
Colorado number 6, minor penalty for slashing.
Comes across. Well, there's Mike. We can't say much about that one. That is, I mean, he got him good on the hands on that one. So now you got 28 seconds of 5-on-3. The Islanders are asking for more than just 2 minutes.
Win on the draw by New York. One-timer. Score by Wisnowski. That makes it 3-2. With 7:46 to go, and you can see the anguish on the face of Coach Waugh.
And now, of course, what happens? Talbot comes out, and the New York Islanders have almost a full 2-minute power play still. Wisnowski, a couple of years ago, he was a second-team All-Star for the Anaheim Ducks. He is unbelievably talented. The concussion stopped him from being able to join his club for the Olympics. But now, and this is where the Islanders and all that success of coming back from 2 goals down, they know how to do it. They know what to do. They get the fever now, and here they come.
And there's 7:40 left to go in the period. Now 1:45 remaining in Johnson's penalty. So 2 5-on-3 power play goals by New York here in the third period. And the Islanders now trail by 1. Avalanche clear the puck around the ice. And change up their penalty killers coming out. McLeod, Mitchell, Holden, and Hayden. Eric Johnson would normally get some penalty killing time. Still in the penalty box. Bailey cuts off the pass. Comes to Mitchell. He scoops the puck out to center ice. 1:10 left in Johnson's penalty. So a goal by Tavares at 11:17 on 5-on-3. Bailey, Wisnowski assisting. Then Wisnowski scores a power play goal, 5-on-3 at 12:14. So less than a minute following that first one. New York now down by 1. Shot by Tavares. Oh, he was set up to uncork one, and he shot it wide.
He was right. He came right at us where we sit, and it was right in his wheelhouse. He just missed.
Wisnowski makes the pass. 30 seconds remaining in the penalty. On Johnson, held in by Wisnowski. Bounced it down for Tavares. Cutting across, rolled it free. Bouncing around in the slot. Comes wide to the boards. Back to the point for Wisnowski. Slides it across. Vanek gives to Tavares. He winds, he shoots, save, and Giguère, nice job not allowing the rebound to get away from him after making the save, leaving just 5 seconds to go in Johnson's penalty.
Well, let's look as we approaching that Olympic break, scoring in the NHL. Crosby number 1, Tavares number 2, Getzlaf, Kane, Kessel, all guys, of course, going to be important parts of their various teams. But the top 3 guys in that list, all center icemen, all Canada. The next 2 guys, Mike, both from Team USA, both wingers.
Face-off won by the Islanders. Last seconds of this power play chance. Johnson's penalty is over. We're back to even strength. Grabner chasing the puck. Turn it behind the net, over-skated. Bounced around. And O'Reilly for Colorado. Trying to maneuver out to center. Turned it off the glass, got it out. Duchesne racing for the puck. He gets there. Works back behind the net. Checked by DeHaan. Held against the corner boards. Zekas moves the puck free for Bailey to take. Put it off the boards. Back to center ice. Handoff goes to Parenteau. He shoots on net. Nabokov wheels it to the corner. Slapped around. Up the near side wall. Kicked out by Barry. Got past him. Landeskog's shot. Blocked in front. There's a chip. And the save made by Nabokov. Got a little something happening following the whistle. Ex-Islander P.A. Parenteau involved. And we'll be back. Islanders have scored a couple of power play goals. The Avs still lead. So looking for a great car? Check out the all-new Kias. You can visit ColoradoKiaDealers.com. Discover Kia's full lineup of high-quality, stylish, dependable vehicles. Go to ColoradoKiaDealers.com.
Have we had ourselves a little scuffle in the crowd here, Mike? Right down there, all those 86 guys in yellow. A little healthy,
New York, huh?
A healthy New York. I'm not paying for that. Yes, you are.
It's going to take, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 security guards. They're going to pick them up and get them out of here. That's one tough guy. Now there's 6. Now there's 8 security guards for one guy.
And they're saving in the heavyweights now. There's a couple of the larger security dudes.
It's a big crowd here tonight, and I think most of them are watching right now in the stands.
Oh, they're literally. He must be very popular. They've got him up over his shoulders.
Like Rudy, carrying him out. Well, meanwhile, here in the third period, 4:37 to go. Who's the penalty on? It's going to be on the Islanders. On the Islanders, yep. After 5 penalties were called in a row during the third period on the Avalanche. The Islanders get called for one. Thomas Vanek goes into the penalty box.
As we look at this, Mike, what's one final comment on the gentleman being carried out? There was his wife, girlfriend behind, just berating the security. Like somehow they had done something wrong. He was just waving it.
Oh, Saturday night here in New York. Oh, power play chance for the Avalanche. Give themselves a little breathing room here. 4.5 minutes to go. Avs tonight 0 for 2 on the power play. Islanders have outshot the Avs in this game 31-23, but Colorado with that 1-goal advantage here late in the third period. Clearing attempt, didn't get out of the zone. Avalanche managed to keep it in. Parenteau receives the pass. Barry, one-timer. Blocker save made by Nabokov. Back to Barry. Shoots it around the boards in the New York zone. Duchesne's got a pair of goals in this game. Back up the boards, and Clutterbuck turns and clears for New York. Leaving a minute to go in the Vanek penalty. Shot in from center. Stopped by Nabokov. He gives to Grabner. Trying to skate out to center. His pass towards Cizikas. Couldn't handle it. Brought back by Stastny. Cuts across. He shoots. Big save by Nabokov. Rebound comes to Grabner. Shoots it into the Colorado zone.
Nabokov just kept his team in the hockey game. That was a terrific save.
3 minutes to go in the third. 22 seconds remaining in the penalty on Vanek. Pass to Stastny. He leads McKinnon to the New York line. Dropped it Landeskog. Shot gets stopped in front of the net and cleared by New York. Clutterbuck again dumping the puck down the ice. That'll do it for Vanek's penalty, leaving 2:35 to go in the third period. The Avalanche leading the game 3-2. Puck moved around the boards. DeHaan to center. Pass up ice. Shot in from center by Hamonic. Slapped around. DeHaan waiting at the half boards. Hamonic turns and shoots. Save made by Giguère. Pass behind the net for Tavares. It's challenged along the boards. One hands it back to the point. DeHaan shoots it off the skate of Hamonic out to center. Back across for DeHaan. Oh, the Islanders were in the middle of a change. Nobody could receive the pass because they were changing up. Vanek moving through center. Bounce pass ahead for Wisniewski. Punch to the head. Giguère turns, shoots it off the glass, and out to center ice. What a nice play by J.F. Giguère.
Perfectly timed, high off the glass to his own man.
Talbot trying to center, but it was tipped. Lead pass to center ice. In comes Nelson. Shot. That gets stopped. Rebound. Put out in front. Oh, my, was that close.
Nelson was flying.
He was. McDonald's pass for Bailey. He winds. He shoots. It was tipped wide of the net. Centered in front. Oh, what a chance. Another chance for Opozo. Back towards the point. Hickey slides it across. One-timer up high. Slapped up the boards. Kept in by the Islanders somehow. Then Johnson turns and gets it up ice for McGinn, who clears. 1 minute left. Nabokov has gone to the bench. Extra skater for the Islanders. Up ice for Opozo. Rims it around. Grabner back behind him. Oh, a nice play. What a play by Landeskog. Got a chance to seal it for the Avs, and he does. Great play by Gabe Landeskog. Back at his own blue line to take away the puck and then deposit it into the empty net, and the Avalanche are going to win this game tonight.
Well, there are cardiac kids, aren't they? The Avs up 3-0 in control, take 5 consecutive penalties. They give the Islanders 2 5-on-3 opportunities. There's the one that just slid through. There's another opportunity, slides on the other side. And here's the empty netter. And the Avalanche, Mike, they will, barring some sort of miracle, they will move to 79 points. 2-2 on this road trip. And also a disappointing game against the New York Rangers where they were outplayed, especially the first period. They had a lot of shots last game against Philadelphia. Just couldn't find a way to put the puck in the net. And tonight, how about that guy right there? Giguère was good early. He's been good late. The only goals that have beaten him in tonight's game have been 5-on-3 rockets. One by Tavares and one by Wisnowski, and that's it.
He's going to go 2-0 on this
Yes.
trip, while Varlamov goes 0-2 on this trip. So when he hadn't played a lot recently until this road trip, but when they called upon him, there was J.S. Giguère. 2 huge wins for the Avalanche on his back.
And the thing about it was, Mike, he had lost 4 in a row. And there was some pressure starting to build about, okay, can he be that reliable backup that we want? Because 18 games remaining for the Avalanche. They'd like the split to be about 24 games remaining, 18-16, 18-6, pardon, to get it out, 18-6 as far as the games, Varlamov versus Giguère. And I'll tell you, you got to be awfully comfortable with Giguère after these couple of games.
Centering pass for Tavares got away. Sent out towards center. McDonald will take it. Bounce back to center. Last dozen seconds of the game. So the Avalanche are going to get the victory. For Giguère, he'll go to 9-4 for the Avalanche, their 37th win of the season. And for the first time in 7 games, they've beaten the New York Islanders in this building. And they get the victory tonight. They even up the season series with the New York Islanders, and a great win. And for Matt Duchene, a couple of goals there in the second period, including the game-winning goal. He's got to feel good headed to the Olympics.
Well, this team has to feel good, Mike. If Patrick Waugh this morning was saying, if you had told me we were going to have 79 points at the Olympic break, I'd have signed up right now, at the start of the season. So you know this club feels good about it. How they're going to come out of it at the end, as far as after 17 days, well, that's to be determined. But to this point of the season, what a terrific year it's been so far for the Avs.
Well, as the celebration continues for the Avalanche, we'll take a short break. Back to tell you who the 3 stars of tonight's game are when we return.